Hello, this is Mrs. Ross, and these are the notes for Module B, Unit 2, Lesson 1, Levels of Organization. Let's get into it. So here's the student book on the right-hand side, and we need to get to page 48. We're currently at page 46. So that's going to be 47, and that's going to be 48. I'm going to make that a little larger because I'm old. Nice. Okay, so you can clearly see the definition of organism is right here. And we're talking about living things, how living things are organized, so levels of organization. And the definition of organism is a living thing made up of one or more cells that can perform all of the processes needed for life. A living thing made up of one or more cells that can perform all the processes needed for life. So I'm going to, check these as I go through. And then I have characteristics of unicellular organisms. So let's see. So we can put the definition that unicellular organisms are made of a single cell, that they have one level of organization, and that they perform all the functions needed for life in the one cell. So let me say that again. Organisms that are unicellular are made of a single cell. That's number one. They have one level of organization, that's number two, and all the functions needed for life are performed by one cell, that's number three. Okay, let's get into the characteristics for multicellular organisms. Multicellular organisms are made up of more than one cell, okay? The cells make up so made up of more than one cell, are specialized and organized to perform specific functions, are specialized and organized to perform specific functions. And then they have more than one level of organization. So let me go through that again. Multicellular organisms, they have made up of more than one cell, that's number one. They are specialized and organized to perform specific functions, that's number two. And they have more than one level of organization. That's number three. And now we're on our first quick check. So it says Aurora is studying levels of structural organization of an animal's body. Which level would describe a dog's eye? Is it organ, tissue, organism, or organ system? It's going to be organ. And then arteries are blood vessels that transport oxygen-rich blood and nutrients throughout the body. What level of organization is an artery? Is it a cell, a tissue, an organ, or an organ system? Again, it is considered an organ. So let's keep going. So we need to move to page 50. So I believe this is, no we don't, it's right there. Okay, this should be 48 because it's right there. So definition of a tissue, a group of similar cells that are organized to perform a specific function. A group of similar cells that are organized to perform a specific function. That's the definition of tissue. An example of tissue, so an example of tissue is the vascular tissue in a tree. An example of tissue is a vascular tissue in a tree that transports water throughout a tree. We have vascular tissue as well in our bodies that transports blood throughout our bodies, so very similar. And then let's go on to the next page. So this would be 49. I don't know how I got off on it doesn't matter. So definition of organ, different types of tissues that function together form an organ. Different types of tissues that function together form an organ. So you would put that there for definition of an organ. An example of an organ, let's see, the stem of an oak tree. The stem of an oak tree. So for an example of tissue, we have the vascular tissue in a tree. For an example of an organ, we have the stem of an oak tree. Okay, so let's keep going. Down to organ systems, which is still on page 49. An organ system is a group of organs that work together to perform body functions. So we've done this one and this one. A group of organs that work together to perform body functions. So that's going to be your organ system. Let's keep going. Example of an organ system. Let's see. The leaves, stems, and flowers of organs are organs of the shoot system. So the SHOOT system of an oak tree would be a example of an organ system, the leaves, stems, and flowers of organs, okay? They also talk about the circulatory system here. So let's go on to our next quick check. It says Carissa drew a diagram to describe the levels of structural organization of an animal's body. She will list the cell at the bottom of the pyramid as both the least specialized and the most numerous. Which of these should she list in the level 3 of the diagram? So if we look at the diagram, it says that the cell, so the cell would be here, cell, oh, I did that. Cell would be here, they want to know what's here. So it's, maybe it would be cell, tissue, organ. So that's the answer there. All right, and let's, it says go on to page 52, but now I'm wary. So let's see, plasma defined. Oh, goodness, okay. What page am I on? Let's see. I'm on 53. I don't think it's on page 50. Oh, yeah, it is. It's right there. I see it now. Okay. So down here at the bottom, under categorize a level of organization, it says blood is made up of blood cells suspended in a liquid matrix called plasma. So if we wanted to define plasma, we could say that it is the liquid matrix suspends blood cells. The liquid matrix that suspends blood cells. What types of cells does blood contain? It contains red blood cells and white blood cells and platelets. That's all here in this little thing. And then where do blood cells originate? Does it tell us? I don't think that it tells us. It's going to be in the, oh my gosh. Sorry, my nose is running. This is going to be in the bone marrow. That's not even in your book. So that's a bonus. And then what functions does blood perform? What functions does blood perform? Blood provides all the cells in the body with oxygen, so provides all the cells in the body with oxygen, helps to regulate body temperature, that's number 2, helps to regulate body temperature, and helps the body to fight infection, number 3. So blood's pretty miraculous. So let's go back through the functions of the blood. Blood provides all the cells in the body with oxygen, that's number 1, all the cells in the body with oxygen. Number 2 is that it helps regulate body temperature. That's important. And then number 3 is that it helps the body fight infection. And then I have a little question that you can answer because there is not a right answer. Do you think blood is a tissue, a fluid, or both, and why? Now, your answer will be correct as long as you can tell me the why. Why do you think it's a tissue? Why do you think it's a fluid? Why do you think it's both? Okay? Just a question, get you thinking. And then there's a quick check. It says this picture shows a microscopic view of blood. Blood is made of different types of cells, each of which play a different role while working together. Blood is an example of which level of organization, and they kind of answer this question for you, but I will accept a lot of different answers. So, but this on your quick check is tissue because it's multiple cells working together. All right, and now how does tissue reflect the characteristics of the cell it is made of? How does it, so tissues are made of cells. How does the tissue reflect that? Doop, 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 doop. Let's see. Trying to see, okay, here we go. Cells are fit for the job, for example. Okay. Okay, we're still on how does the tissue reflect the characteristic of the cell that it's made of. A tissue has characteristics similar to the cell that it's made of. So the characteristics are similar to the cell. For example, okay, skin cells are made to, wait, there's got to be some examples here. I thought there was an example. Obviously not. Well, I'll just go with it then. Like skin cells are made to be elastic. They're made to stretch. And there are other cells that are not made to stretch. We need our skin cells to be able to stretch and to move, right? So the answer to this question is that a tissue has characteristics similar to the cell type it's made of. And then let's go on to the quick check. A student is studying various levels of living things and creates a table to give examples of different levels. Which of these should the student write as an example of the organism level? Of the organism level of organization. What? Oh, the organism level, which is right there. I got you. Right, this right here. Got it. Okay, and the answer to that question is human. The organism is going to be human. Thank goodness. And then it says, explain how the structure of an organ relates to the function it performs. So let's go down here where it has structure and function of organs. The structure of an organ relates to the function it performs. For example, some organs are shaped like hollow tubes to transport materials. So what I would do is I would give that example. Some organs are shaped like hollow tubes to transport materials. Others are sac-like to hold materials. So those are two examples of how the structure of an organ relates to the function it performs. So tubes for transporting materials and sac-like to hold materials. Okay. And then we have an example of how an organ system relates to its function. So let's see if we can find that on page 55. That's 54. Oh, it doesn't look like it's there. Example of how the structure of an organ system relates to. Okay, so let's take a look at this. For example, a respiratory system in an animal is an animal organ system that takes in oxygen and releases carbon dioxide. Some animals do not have a respiratory system simply to exchange gases through their skin. Some have a more complex respiratory system to exchange gases more effectively. So it really depends on the animal how the organ system is designed, I guess you could say. So for this example, you could say the respiratory system is designed to take in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, and that this respiratory system varies between different animals, okay? Which statement best explains the relationship between structure and function in an organism? This is going to be D. The structure and function refers to the relationship between the parts of cells, tissues, organs, and organ systems and the job they do in the body. Okay. How does the coordination of systems benefit an organism? Let's see. So this should be 56. Coordination. The coordination of systems gives an organism a greater variety of possible functions and responses. It's the very last sentence on that first paragraph. The coordination of systems gives an organism a greater variety of possible functions and responses. Okay, and then we get into body systems. Okay, and it says we need to write the function of each system. So let's see, I think that's, here we go. So here's all of the functions. So we have circulatory system, respiratory system, muscular system, and it tells you the function right after the bolded name. Skeletal system, nervous system, digestive system, excretory system. So we have all of those. Where are we at here? Oh gosh, okay. And then we're at biomimicry. So let's see. Biomimicry is on page 59. Is that this? Yeah, okay. So the definition of biomimicry is that it uses design solutions found in nature to solve human design problems. Biomimicry, or biomimetics, that's interesting, uses design solutions found in nature to solve human design problems. So that's going to be your definition. For example, so an example of biomimicry, researchers are always looking for ways to make strong yet flexible fiber. One of the strongest known materials is spider silk. So you could